Welcome to 400 Days in Minecraft Hardcore Trios Edition. In today's video, we survived another 100 days on the Minecraft Trios world, now making this world 400 days old. So, what did we manage to do in these 400 days? Well, stick around to find out. Also, if you're new around here and enjoyed today's video, then please consider dropping a like and subscribing, as it helps out way more than you think. And I haven't really shouted this out much, but if you have Discord, you can join mine as well, link in the description. But anyways, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's begin. On day 301 to 302, we wanted to start these days off by doing a relatively simple build. And that is actually exactly what we did. We started building a mini floating island, which was actually really close to our starting base. We started this mini floating island by digging a hole into the ground, and then directly above it building a replica-sized island above it. Pretty much like I took a chunk out of the ground and put it in the sky. In the end, it looked pretty cool after we decorated it by putting a tree and a small river coming down from it. Yeah, it turned out really nice, and it was definitely a good addition to the so-called home area. The previous build that we just did was a starter build to get us into the mood, because now we would embark on a brand new project, similar to the one that we had already done, but this was a big project. However, before we could even start this project, we had to go out and find an ocean monument. So that's exactly what we did. We all went flying around in different directions until one of us found an ocean monument. Once we found it, we began by building a 150 block diameter from one side of the ocean monument to the other. This was going to be the size of a circle. Yes, that's right, we are going to drain out another circle out of the ocean, but this time it was the ocean monument. Once we had the sides of the circle marked out, we began by building the actual circle. We used an online circle generator because we had no clue how to figure this out on our own. We then decided to build this circle in a different way. We actually built up the walls first, which ended up being a much more efficient process because on the previous circle that we made, the walls were first made out of sand, and then we drained the whole thing out and then replaced it with glass. It was really inefficient, but we learned from our mistakes and we did it way better this time. Before we get any comments saying how did we get all this glass, like we didn't even get any sand or anything, well, I'm going to stop you right there, because when we were building the previous circle, we had heavily overestimated how much sand and glass we would actually need. So we had multiple double chests of glass just lying around ready to be used. So we used all the leftover sand and glass by building up these walls. It took quite some time, but we didn't end there. We drained out the entire ocean monument as well, obviously with sand and sponge. And in the end, after this long process, we had finally finished draining out the ocean monument. But obviously we do not end there, because later on we would be using this ocean monument for something. So we had to completely mine out the entire ocean monument, breaking down all the walls and removing any unnecessary blocks that were still in the ocean monument. Nothing really special happened during this time, but we did end up finishing mining out this entire area, and then that allowed us to move on to the next thing, because we were going to come back to the ocean monument later on in this series. Remember in the previous 100 days how we built up a few nether farms but they never actually ended up working? Well, yeah, this is the time we're going to fix all those farms and get them working once again, because it would have been a shame just spending that much time on a farm that didn't even end up working. Anyways, we made our way over to the wither skeleton farm, and thanks to the comment section on the 300 day video, we found out that the reason for this farm not working was actually because of carpets that we had placed down. I don't know why the tutorial didn't tell us to remove it, but we ended up removing those carpets that were on the nether brick, and then to our surprise it actually worked. We now had a functional wither skeleton farm, even if it wasn't the most efficient thing to exist. So yeah, we were really excited that we now had a wither skeleton farm, and if we ever needed more beacons or nether stars, then we know where to come. There was a key word in my previous sentence: farms, not farm. Meaning we had multiple AFK farms in the nether, and guess what? The other one didn't work as well. Well, actually it did work, but it was way inefficient compared to what it should be. So we wanted to fix the other one up as well. and to do so, we had to mine around 6,000 magma blocks. Yes, that is quite a lot, but it will be worth it in the long run when we have a very efficient gold and XP farm. Anyways, we went flying around the Nether, mining up every single bit of magma blocks we could get our hands on, and in hopes to fix the other broken AFK farm and just get a bunch of gold and XP. Hopefully this time was going to be worth it and we just didn't waste our time mining 6,000 blocks. Anyways, eventually after mining up all the magma blocks we could get our hands on, we were ready to fix the gold farm. So we all flew over to the gold farm and began replacing every single cobblestone block that we had there. I'm not really sure why the tutorial actually told us to place down cobblestone instead of magma blocks. I'm confused just as much. But anyways, after a very long time, this actually surprisingly took quite a long time, we ended up finishing it. And honestly, I'm glad we did this because, whoa, this farm was so much more efficient, and I'm also glad we didn't have to build this thing all over again because that just would have sucked. Because building this in the first place was probably one of the worst Minecraft experiences I had ever had. Finally, after the long process of replacing cobblestone with magma blocks, we had finally finished replacing everything. And we were very excited. So excited that we ended up AFKing the whole day to test it out. And after testing it out for a whole day AFKing at this farm, we were all quite happy with the result. We were getting plenty of XP and gold from the farm. I think this was 100% worth it. Anyways, that was enough time to slack off. We're not going to be AFKing at all for the rest of this episode. We were now going to start another build. But it's not a very good one, as you will probably soon find out. We had a suggestion in the comment section to build statues of all of our skins. I thought this was a good idea until I saw the final products of how this actually turned out. So we went over to the wool farm, collected all the materials that we would use, and began building up our statues. My skin was actually pretty easy to build. Probably none of you are actually surprised about that because, I mean, my skin, it's a really basic skin. So we began building up the statues, and a little time later, I actually ended up finishing mine. I'm not really sure if you guys want to see this. It's terrible. Do you really want to see it? Are you sure? Okay, fine. What the heck happened here? This is just awful. It was so bad that I just decided to keep it there because that build is like bad, but it also looks kind of funny. So I decided to just keep it there. I don't know why. Maybe I should remove it. We'll soon find out. While my friends decided to finish their building of their statues off, I myself, yes, myself, look at me doing all the work on this world, decided mining and flattening out an area for yet another build. Nothing very special happened during this time, but I guess you guys can now see the finished product of all the other statues. Yeah, let's just ignore those and pretend those never existed because they look interesting, okay? But anyways, the area that I started flattening out was finally complete, so we can now start our next build. And our next build that we would start working on is a battle arena. With the newly flattened out area, we could now begin building the next build, the arena. Initially, we wanted to build this arena so we could end the series by having a cool battle to the death, because we were running out of ideas on what to do in this world, until we decided not to do that because we were actually eventually getting many more ideas to do in this world. Anyways, this arena was kind of small, it didn't really look good, the theme was sandstone and blackstone, and yeah, the build did not look good at all, because you know what, I don't even need to explain, have a look at this. Soon after starting this build, we ended up just giving up on it because it was that bad. We didn't have a reason to complete it as well, so yeah, if you guys want to see us continue this build, then let us know in the comment section. After giving up on that absolutely horrible battle arena, we finally decided to go back to the ocean monument that we drained out earlier to think of some ideas on what we could actually do with this thing, because right now it was just kind of useless, it was just sitting there doing nothing. And after a long thought process, we actually ended up deciding to build an efficient guardian farm. And yeah, it actually turned out to be pretty efficient. Anyways, farm would actually give us access to prismarine and fish, so I guess it's kind of useful. If we didn't build this farm, then we would have had nothing better to use this for, so yeah, I guess it's just filling in the space, to be honest. Maybe we could do a cool prismarine or ocean related build in 500 days, I don't know. Let us know what we can use this prismarine for. Anyways, we collected materials for this guardian farm. We didn't really need too much to actually build this. It was a pretty basic build. And after getting all the items, we were finally ready to build this AFK farm. This farm took way longer than I thought it would have taken. Mainly because we had to go back and forth from the video, we're also eating lunch. Anyways, that's not really important. The main important thing here is that we got it done. We tested it out a bit, and it's actually pretty good. Now, you may be thinking, surely you're done with this ocean monument, and to that, I say nope, not at all. The final thing that we would use this ocean monument for in today's episode would actually just doing something pretty simple. We wanted to replace the ground. Yeah, you see, the ground of this ocean monument is just honestly terrible. It looks terrible. It's just made out of stone, gravel, you know, all those kind of pretty ugly blocks. It just doesn't look good. So we went to a nearby island, broke up a bunch of grass and dirt, and then began replacing all the gravel with all the grass and dirt that we collected. And then after quite a long time, this actually took a decent amount of time, we were finally complete. For now, that is. Until next episode, give us some ideas on how we could actually decorate this ocean monument. Come on, Blue. How much more building are you guys gonna do in this episode? Are you going to ever stop? Is that what you're all thinking right now? Well, the answer to that is never. I will never stop building. We need to make this world look sick, okay? Anyways, off to the Nether we go. You see, every time we go into the Nether, we just come out into a normal, disgusting Nether area. So we decided to build a pretty simple Nether hub. This was very experimental because we did a bunch of different designs, but in the end, we figured out a good design that we think would look cool, and we were actually happy with this. So we built it up and bam, there's the final product. I hope you guys actually like the way this turned out as much as we do. It looked pretty cool, so we just went with it. Continuing building in the Nether, we wanted to embark on another project, and that was to build tunnels for either boat travel, elytra travel, or even just running. Since we didn't have enough time to finish a tunnel to every single place in the Nether, we decided to start by building 2 tunnels. But of course, these tunnels were going to be big, so we needed to collect a bunch more materials. We collected a lot of stone from the AFK stone generator that we made quite a while ago, and on top of that, we went looking for an ice spikes biome because we were going to need a lot of ice. Anyways, after collecting all those materials, we started working on the tunnels. The first tunnel was to the Nether Fortress, well, the original Nether Fortress, it's not the actual Wither Skeleton one. And then the other was going to an area where the portal to the... And finally, the second tunnel would go to the Nether portal, which would take us to the End portal. These tunnels took a very long time just because of how long they were, and we also had to go back and forwards collecting even more materials because once we got materials, we would use it up and we would just have to go back and forwards. But eventually, we completed the first tunnel and this place looked really cool. We decided to get a bunch of blackstone for the roof, and with the iron from the iron golem farm, we would make the walls out of lava and iron bars. So yeah, this tunnel ended up looking really sick. Let me know what you guys think about this. We also completed the end portal tunnel, and then finally, we were complete. This was definitely worth it, and it was a good addition to our netherworld. We do not end there though. It was now time to go off to the end, but this time, it was kind of a break from all the building that we had been doing in this world. So yeah, the break that we were doing was actually to create our god sets. Since we had been on this world for a long time, it would make sense for our armor to be really good. So we upgraded all of our diamond tools and armor to netherite and added enchants to our tools and armor that we had maybe been missing. Until finally, we were as unbeatable as we could have possibly been. I mean, look at this. Look at our armor and tools. They are so OP. And to use our god armor and flex on the Ender Dragon, we respawned and killed it just a few times. Yeah, we kind of went overboard and killed the Ender Dragon like 4 or 5 times. I honestly can't remember how many times it was. This was an interesting time. It was quite fun. I did have a good time killing all these Ender Dragons. And yeah, Mr. Ender Dragon, if you're watching this video, you really took an L in these fights. You were just so easy. Maybe get better next time. Because with my elytras, I can just break all your end crystals so fast and you're just out of the game as soon as possible. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Anyways, staying in the end, we decided to do something else that I haven't myself done in a very long time. And that was to fly around and look for some end cities and then loot them all for potentially more shulker boxes, end loot, and elytras. But myself, I was very unlucky and I only ended up finding one end city, which it wasn't even like an elytra one. It only had 2 chests inside and both chests were absolutely terrible. So that was kind of a rest in peace that day. So yeah, that was kind of a waste of a day. But anyways, that brings us to day number 400, the final day of today's video. And what did we do? Well, pretty much, we just decided to go around and having a look at everything we had done. And that ends the 400 days video. If you guys did enjoy, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. Make sure to join my Discord, and that's about it. So, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.